Hello everyone, this is my follow-up video from my first Minecraft recording that I made that showed you my Roman world. This follow-up will include my newly completed forum, as you can see. Forums are typically the center of the town and where politics, business, everyday life kind of centers around. Pretty much every Roman city has one. This, of course, is I'm legitimately trying to recreate the actual city of Rome itself. Of course, you remember before I had shown you around a little bit of what I had completed, but nothing was really in the right place. So I spent a lot of time building a few small things to give it some good detail, and kind of placing all these temples that I had built before in their proper locations. Of course, now I have these columns that, unlike the triumphal arches, these were more like honorary columns for like heroes rather than like they celebrated a whole thing. But they called them honorary columns. I guess they weren't quite what the triumphal arches are, but somewhat the same. Over, yeah, and you see I've decorated it with some trees, so the layout of where I put this nice square rectangular pattern in the middle, and my leftover spaces where the things kind of stick out and go back in, just so they're not so empty. But yeah, this is actually my second attempt at trying to show you this, because the first time it didn't record the sound. So yeah, I've tried to do a great bit of detail, but recreating the city as best I can. Of course, a lot of the sources that I try to look up, a lot of the buildings that I've tried to recreate don't have a lot of information, so I have to take it by wing, kind of wing it a little bit and be like, okay, this was sort of this is what it was, this is roughly what it looked like, or, they never gave me any measurements or anything, which is, kind of why. There's a couple people in here. Nobody ever likes to go in there. I don't know why. Whoa, hello. You popped out of nowhere. They follow me. But yeah, basically I've created like a road that goes around it. Nice little mosaic pattern. I didn't quite make this one as, as elaborately fancy as, you remember those other ones that I showed you from my first video over, let's find one, yeah, right here. Yeah, I didn't quite make such a, such an elaborate pattern. I mean, I made a nice pattern, I just didn't use fancy, materials that if you stare at it long enough, it'll hurt your eyes. I think one of them really does hurt my eyes. But, yeah. Over here, we have one of the other one down there. There's another one down there. It's a little more fancy, but this is supposed to be a tribunal, which is like where, even into the imperial period, but primarily in the time of the I lost my words here. The Republic, would have politicians, make speeches to the people of the city and everything. And tell them their plans for what they want to do, and people vote on it and stuff. But yeah, a few places where I made shrines to certain things. Like this is supposed to be. Oh, I cannot remember. It had something to do with Venus was in the name, but it was more about this different goddess. The information I got on it was something about cleanliness. And it started talking about the Roman sewer system and how the Romans had to be clean. So it's kind of like some sort of something about cleanliness, I guess. I know the name of the goddess. I know it's sort of a C. I just don't remember what the name is. But here, probably notice these pretty large buildings that as I went inside that one. Those are kind of basilicas where they call them basilicas, where they're probably just buildings. Like I showed you in my really big other imperial forum with the 2 libraries and the column, and when you went inside that really building there, it's another basilica. There's some paintings on the wall. So. But this is a basilica kind of more in the Republic age. I think the correct term is the Basilica Aemilia or something like that. Something Latin phrase. I haven't really studied a lot of Latin, so I studied a lot of Rome, just not any language. But then there's another one across the way there. If I fly out here. Another one over here with this columns in front of it is the Basilica Julia, which is a little bit newer. Built during the time of Caesar, and I'm not really saying that he built it, but I guess he kind of had influence on it being built. But yeah, this is basically my completed Roman Forum. Another little shrine down there. I don't know exactly what that is. I'll have to look that up again. Triumphal Arch over here. There's another shrine. I don't remember the name of this either, but the story of it is that it's just a pit in the ground where they believe. Yeah, I put the trapdoors there because, as you can see, because I'm in creative mode, I've dug down through the bedrock into the abyss. It's basically supposed to be what they claim to be the center of the world. It's right there. I guess it was Romulus that claimed this was the middle, and basically set the city of Rome from that spot. This is a fun building. This is supposed to be a prison where prisoners would be held. And I've got a few villagers down here. There's another level up there with a trapdoor where I kind of get these villagers that'll fall through. And it's nice because villagers can't open. Maybe they can, I'm just not seeing them do it. Can't open those steel doors or iron doors. But yeah, this is a prison where I guess you'd have some general come back from a battle that he won, and many of his prisoners would be, while his army marched through the city, in a grand parade, he'd have his prisoners here that would show up and be thrown into this, I guess it's really just a pit. And either they'd be thrown in there and await trial, and usually the trial led to execution. You'd fall down in there. Dang it. So, yeah. Basically, this is where you would be executed, would be down in the lower part. That's why I put this door here, so like you could have like an executioner come in and do his thing. Like I guess if I went in there and grabbed this iron axe and decided I was gonna, whop off a villager's head with it. Which, doesn't really work in Minecraft sense, but you know, just something fun to think about. But yeah, basically I've created the entire layout of the main part of the forum. There's a few more things I have to build, like I have to build the House of the Vestals, also sometimes known as the House of the Vestal Virgins. You know, basically the servants of, and the keepers of the Fire of Vesta, which the Temple of Vesta I've already built, and it's this kind of this little round one over here. I think I built this slightly bigger than it was originally supposed to be, because when I tried to build it to actual numbers, I stuck in an in portal in here just to put a kind of a mystical thing. But yeah, that's supposed to fit in this general area eventually. I started it, and I don't want to, you know, waste my time running off in the middle of nowhere looking for it. But there's a few more things that I think, aside from that, I think there's another basilica that I think is built by Constantine, which I think is later known as the Basilica Maximus, also known as the Basilica Constantine. That'll eventually, I think, it'll go right here. Oh, yeah, the House of Vestal Virgins will go over here. And then this big puppy, this temple, which is the largest religious temple in Rome, is the Temple of Venus and Rome. Now, it's built in this interesting way to say that, you go in here, I might want to put more details into this, but I've tried to build these statues of the goddesses. It doesn't really matter which one you decide is which, but they're basically built back to back. Like, basically two temples that are faced back to back, and let's, I'll just fly away, get to the other side. It's a pretty large temple complex. But, yeah, so then I built one out of diamond and one out of gold, and diamond doesn't really look like diamond, it looks more like a, see, this is supposed to be diamond in this texture pack, and, it's more like blue glowstone that doesn't glow, but this one's made out of gold, and the other one was made out of diamond. I kind of inverted the two rooms. And I did that there's kind of an interesting reason why, because it's known as the Temple of, Venus and Rome. In Latin it would be Roma, R-O-M-A. And the goddess is basically the city. And then Venus, which, Latin, kind of, is, Latin love is like amor, so that's spelled A-M-O-R, which is, if you kind of understood what I was saying earlier, the two words are basically backwards of each other, so they're pretty clever in just kind of saying, okay, so let's put the two temples back to back, as if we were flipping the word around. Pretty interesting way of thinking about it. So, and that'll eventually, it's kind of where it's supposed to be, but I think it has to face, I have to maybe, you eventually use MC Edit and move everything around, and probably have to rotate it one way or the other. I think it goes long ways to the forum, so those stairs will probably be facing like this direction. I don't know about moving my Colosseum, because my Colosseum is actually a little too close to the forum, especially when I move that, because that'll eventually go right in this general area, almost where the Colosseum is. I may have to move it, just because, which is sad because I've dug down underneath all the way to the bedrock, so if I cut it out and paste it somewhere else, I'll have a huge hole in the center there where it'll just be right into the abyss. But yeah, here there's a few temples where this one especially comes to mind, where I don't have anything in here yet. I need to kind of do some interior decorating in a lot of my buildings. From the outside they look good, from the inside they're kind of plain. So I want to do some interior decorating eventually. But yeah, that's pretty much, I guess I'll take a swing by over here so you can see this other part. I guess I'll end it over here, just, you know, another kind of platform in the forum for speech making. And Hail Caesar. So yeah, hope you enjoy it, and hope you give me some comments and some feedback about how I'm doing, you know, how can I make it more accurate. And oh yeah, speaking of accuracy, one other thing. The forum, especially in this area, right in this general area, is rather hard to replicate because this whole Senate house and Minecraft won't let you do it correctly because Minecraft is so, you know, right-angled. This is basically supposed to tilt maybe more in that direction, like angle off that way, off this corner, I guess. Because it's supposed to be almost, you know, perfectly parallel to this little, you know, this has this, if I go up higher, you'll see, you know, angle like this. And this was almost supposed to be parallel to it. So, curving inward, straight line going that way. So, if I wanted to angle the whole building, you know, maybe I could, you know, build this not so with straight walls and build it like that. That would probably look horrible. But yeah, since Minecraft doesn't necessarily let you do everything you want to, which is kind of another reason why I think I put this arch back here, because if this thing could have been angled correctly, I could have put it more here where it is relatively really supposed to go. And then I could back this stuff up with my spacing that I've kind of estimated will push way too far back. And I tried it, I didn't like it. I just think this looks pretty nice, and best I can get to make it look good. You know, I'm looking for accuracy, but I'm also kind of looking for, you know, what legitimately does look good. So it's not so awkward looking building. So yeah, we will see you next time when hopefully I'll have more to show you. Maybe more buildings, some houses, maybe some common markets. I really need to get to work on a bathhouse. I have not done that yet. I need to do one. Like, maybe that's what I'll do next. I'll show you a bathhouse when I finish it. So, yeah, we'll see you later.